Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brand new video where we are going to be continuing the series where I look at every single position on the rugby field, and I'm going to look to give advice and a few tips and pointers I have that can help you guys improve on your own game if you play in those positions. Today the position of talk is going to be lock, i.e. the second row. And I'm going to be going over a few tips. I've got a few pointers written down on this piece of paper which I'm going to go through today's video to try and help you guys improve your own game and give you some pointers. But before we get into the video, I just want to thank you guys for subscribing, liking and supporting the channel really. It's super motivating and I'm just trying to help people improve their game. So if that's something that interests you and you want to, keep up to date with the stuff I'm posting, please do, engage with the channel and keep supporting me because I really do appreciate it. But with that being said, guys, let's get into the video. So the first thing I've got written down is engine room. Now, when I say engine room, I'm talking about being a presence on the field. You want to be, as a second row, involved in as many phases as you can, because second row I feel like has this kind of stereotype where you're just tall and lanky and you're really slow, and I feel like you can't be that in this kind of modern game that people like to play. You need to get involved, you need to be around the pitch, getting involved in the defensive and attacking side of the game, and you need to be a presence on the pitch. And the way you're going to do that is by executing some really key core skills which come with the role of playing second row. And the first one of those is line outs. Now, obviously being a second row, you're probably going to be the tallest guy on your team, or woman. But yeah, you're going to have the height which you can use to help you, in those line outs. So make sure that when it comes to your jumping, you're really practicing your timing, making sure that you're going through the rhythm in training, understanding what you need to be doing and getting into those right positions so it makes the lifter's life a lot easier. Me, I'm a prop, so I'm only a lifter in the lineouts, I don't jump. So when the jumpers know what they're doing and, they're flowing and understanding what they need to do, it makes our lives a lot easier. So as a second row, if you can do that and make it a lot easier for everyone else around you, it's only going to make your whole team's performance improve. I'd say with that as well, if you can actually go away, I'm not talking like in training, I'm talking like off the pitch completely. I don't know, I'd say probably like on a whiteboard, for example. If you can like draw out all the plays, all the line-out calls that you have and understand where you need to be for each call, I think that's really important for you as a second row, because that knowledge is going to be crucial for you. You want to go into match day having those calls like memorized back to front, inside out, so you can just bang them out and know what's going on. That's really important and really crucial for your game. And I think as well with that, just in terms of a defensive line out as well, try and as you get older and you go through high levels of rugby, you're going to recognize that teams are always going to be trying to steal the ball off your line out, and they're going to be trying to get in your head or try and disrupt. So you need to do the same as well when you're defending in the line out. If you're not able to read what the team are doing, where they're potentially going to throw the ball, you can always use your voice to try and put them off. Try and get inside the opposition's head and disrupt them so you can win that ball back as quickly as you can. The next thing I have written down is scrummaging. Now, it's very crucial for a second row to have great positioning when it comes to their scrummaging, because a lot of the time you just assume that the second row can kind of hide in the middle of the scrum and not really have much of a role to play. You've got the front row in front of them, and then the flankers are to the side of them and number 8's behind them, so you'd think them being in the middle, they have the least amount of work to do. But I'd probably disagree with that, because if the second row isn't fully well bound to the props in terms of making sure that their heads are very secure in between the hooker and the prop's legs, then there's going to be a gap in the scrum, and that's going to be one of two things. It's going to allow the other team to either overpower you guys, because there's a spot in the scrum where they can really exert their power through, or it's going to mean that you guys aren't able to produce as much force as you possibly could be if those second rows were bounded on properly. So as a second row, make sure you're getting into a good position, make sure you're bounded tightly to your props, and make sure that you're really exerting your force in a forwards direction. I think I also want to point that making sure that your back is as flat as possible, so it allows you to really get into those good positions where you can exert as much power forwards and towards the opposition. And hopefully you're going to be able to get loads of scrum penalties and really help your team get territory points, or if it's just a penalty, then a penalty. All those small wins do add up, and it's going to make your team's job a lot easier on the field, and hopefully get you guys a victory that you're looking for. So the last kind of big thing I think that is worth mentioning for these second rows, I've already mentioned being like the engine room, getting around the pitch, but more specifically, I'd say it's really important around breakdowns. You really want to make sure that you're getting involved in as many rooks as possible. It doesn't matter if it's an attacking rook or a defensive rook. You want to get in there, get involved, and especially in attack, you want to make sure you get in there, sealing off that ball, making sure there's no threats within that rook. And then that allows your scrum half to distribute the ball out quickly, and your team can really set up some nicely structured, fast-paced attacking plays, which can hopefully lead to you guys getting points on the board. But on the other hand as well, in defense, you really want to make sure that you're putting up a challenge, and worst case, if you can't disrupt within the rook, you can always wait for the next phase. Let's say, for example, your team's really on the front foot in terms of making your tackles and pushing the team back. If you're able to, as a second row, recognize this and apply pressure to the other team to the point where they feel like they need to get the ball out of their own territory, let's say they're in their own 22 and they've been there for the last 5 minutes, they need to exit the ball, the scrum half might actually look, instead of passing it, to actually go for a box kick and try and make some territory in that sense. But if you as a second row can get into position where you're able to charge down that kick and even block it, that's amazing, because you're going to apply even more pressure to the other opposition, and it's going to put your team in a really good position, and you may even come away with a few points on the board if you guys are able to charge down that kick. But I think the main thing I want to say for a second row is just being an enforcer. You guys are really tall, you're really big, so really use that to your advantage. Be a big presence on the field, be a loud voice as well. The best second rows, they really are true leaders on the field, and I feel like if you can be that as a second row, it's going to boost your own confidence and make you really execute these skills to the best of your ability. And with that being said, guys, I haven't really got much else to say or add to the second row tips for today's video. But if you did find it useful today, please do leave a like on this video and let me know if I missed anything out. Obviously, I don't play second row, so there could be something really crucial I missed out. But if you put that in the comments and someone reads it, it could help them. And yeah, I'm going to look to continue the series going through all the other positions gradually. So do let me know if you found this video useful, and please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you for watching the video, and I really hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys for watching.